Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes and this is the Frugal Life with Mercedes. So, birth rates are down. Here is my take on it. So, the government in this current administration and the last administration were trying to come up with ways for the birth rate to go up. It is at an all-time low in America. Well, first and foremost, America does not have paid maternity leave. So I have a lot of people that watch from outside the US and a lot of people don't know that. I think it's like 12 or 13 states have a paid maternity leave like statute within their state, but that's for those particular states and that is not nationwide. Other states will allow you to take, I believe it's called like family leave, but in most situations that is not paid for. I had a I have a sister who, when she had her child, she was able to take this family medical leave, I think that's what it's called, and she could use her PTO that she had acquired, but then once that ran out, she was not compensated. So if you depend on that income, and most American households are two-income households and rely on that money, well, if you don't have that money coming in anymore, you're kind of out of luck. Now, somebody might say, well, you should be saving. Well, we already know people should be saving, but with inflation and with all sorts of different things, it's really hard for people to save that amount of money, enough to like cover a salary. I also want to point out that you can't just take off work indefinitely. You know, God forbid your child was like in the NICU or something like that. Your corporation that you work for, they're only going to be patient with you for so long. 1 in 4 women go back to work after giving birth, 2 weeks after giving birth. That is staggering. 2 weeks after giving birth, 1 in 4 women are back at work. There are also healthcare costs to consider. A lot of health insurances are not necessarily covering prenatal care or all those OBGYN visits that you have to do going into giving birth, the giving birth process, the C-section possibly, the hospital stay. Depending upon your insurance, there's a lot of out-of-pocket costs. And those are things that you have to consider. There's also the lack of good healthcare providers. Now, you can ask pretty much any American woman. They probably almost all American women have some sort of story where they went to have some sort of female something looked at, taken care of, or even not specifically with our organs, our reproductive parts, but other things. We were belittled. We were not listened to. We were, ignored. And that is not good health care. We need more and better doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals. Now, this is not a dig at healthcare professionals. I know that there are a lot of awesome nurses, awesome doctors, awesome, people in the medical field. But when you hear all these stories of women that were, their birthing experience was so traumatic that they have PTSD because the doctor would not listen to them, or they were in such excruciating pain after giving birth, or preeclampsia wasn't taken seriously, or gestational diabetes, or different things like that. Like, that's not acceptable. So why would somebody want to put themselves in that situation? They wouldn't. And there's many other factors why birth rates are down, but I feel like these ones are some of the biggest ones. Now, I personally have never had a baby, but I have had bad experiences just going to the OBGYN. Without getting super specific, I was having a problem where I was genuinely concerned. there was a possibility that there were polyps, and the doctor I went to wasn't listening to me. The nurse said a couple of comments to me that were quite honestly offensive. And here I'm just trying to get help to make sure that my body is okay. So if I've experienced that and I've never given birth, I cannot even imagine what somebody who's being poked and prodded is experiencing. So maybe we should change and get better health care. Maybe we should have better qualifying doctors. Maybe we should have better bedside manner. Maybe we should be offering paid maternity leave. Because you can't sit there and say, why are birth rates so down, and not discuss these things and bring them to the forefront. Okay, guys, so that is just my take on why the birth rates are so low in America. And the cost of living just in general of raising a child. There's another one. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. If you did not know, I have an Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. Until next time, guys, bye.